They'll be calling you a radical. Ignore the evidence. Continue. Science? Ha! Science at where? Where? Show me one of these phony fraud fuckers. Bill Gates? I mean, Noah? EPA? Academia? We always relied on university fellowships, studies, work in science. Captured. The Epstein cult, totally captured. Continue to ignore the evidence. So let's get right to the catastrophe, the salmon numbers. It's May 18th. The spring run is all but over. I mean, it peaks on May 1st. It's pretty well done. 77,000 on the mighty beast, the giant Columbia. We're talking one of the greatest drainage freaking basins on the planet. Well, could be. So why is this so concerning? And the Army Corps of Engineers, which used to be the Department of Time, why would they possibly classify Kevin Blanch? Which they did. Insiders, I put up the videos proving it. An insider inside the Army Corps of Engineers come to me and said, look at this. Classify. What the? Now let's review. Why is this such an important number? Dead tadpoles at your feet, Edie. Because we don't get dead humans in bone marrow transplant units. HIPAA laws. HIPAA laws are not there to protect patients and or doctors. They're there to protect freaking, well, corporate oligarchy hospital owners and earth poisoners. It's like Roundup. How many times have I said this? And now it's all over. Everybody's freaking out about it. How many times have I said the Roundup settlement case has been going for over 10 years? They paid anybody? Few, but why have they not? What did I say? What did I say for years? Which is easier? Pay all the plaintiffs or pay off the attorneys? You know, attorneys don't want to get any money, getting rich. And Trump and his phony, Bobby Kennedy Jr., what a phony. Bobby Kennedy Jr., I mean, outspoken as it gets against Roundup, and now he's all for Roundup. Trump signs executive order to protect Roundup, the earth poisoners. Bear, wasn't that Hitler's company? Why would they buy them? Oh my God. Back to the salmon numbers. The Columbia right now is 77,000. This is by number. Why would the Army Corps of Engineers live cam magically presto bango when this collapse happened in 2016 pull the live cam? Oh, we're working on it. I used to call them up all the time, say, hey, I got a GoPro, I'll send you. Now they're saying they've permanently decided because of threats of some sort. I don't know. I mean, some kind of... They're just making shit up now. Because they don't want you to see how skinny and scrawny and sucked up they are. Fishermen can... I mean, it's so disturbing. So why is this so important, the Chinook salmon? Well, you've heard it a million times from me. Kevin Blanch standing right there. The smoking gun will be the salmon, because we count them all. We don't count dead humans in bone marrow transplant units, so Kevin Blanch does. I was one of them almost. 2011 I went into the... I mean, I got AML leukemia. Now the leukemia data's out. 62% jump. When? Started 2011. Just another coincidence, bro. We count all the salmon from the Kenai all the way down to the Jedediah Smith. A lot of these dams or rivers have no dams. The ones with dams and the ones with are in absolute symphony with each other. Salmon live in the Pacific Ocean. So the steelhead, which go to sea 1 to 2 years, who I says will start to collapse immediately on cue in which they did, 2012, 2011. Everybody's arguing with me. Kevin, I'm on the ocean. I see it. I'm a fisherman. I mean, record returns. I says, yeah, I know. We had record, and I can't overstate this. March 10th, 2011, the Pacific Ocean was thriving to the point that the humpbacks and the gray whales were taken off the endangered list. Record salmon. Look it up. Record numbers. Absolute record numbers on all these said rivers from Alaska to California. So I'm like, will you believe me when they collapse in 2016? Yeah, but that ain't going to happen. Why 2016? Because Chinook salmon go to sea on average for 5 years. It's such a smoking gun. in symphony with the dead tide pools at your feet. Now you look at the tide pools, if you get to the split at Eugene, Oregon, the Japanese current splits and goes south, the tide pools are much, much, much worse south of Eugene, Oregon than they are north. Well, there's more evidence. I mean, sugar wars, molasses wars, textile wars, cocaine capital, plutonium wars. Yeah, but we got a nuclear rent. No, we don't. We got a propaganda lie. Stock market freaking makes all-time highs. Pacific Ocean dies. I mean, insider trading on. I mean, you think all your money can in another minute buys. So the number, now remember, this is 77,000 by number. It's so radically low. This is with no tribal takeout in front of the dam, with no commercial takeout in front of the dam, with very, very, very limited retail fishing in front of the dam. Very, very limited. Now, the tribal takeout and the commercial takeout by law is 50%. Now, I've talked to ODFW so many times, I got this down to a fine science. In 2015, you know what the number was? For the spring run. For the spring run, 1.4 million. 1.4 million. The year run was 4.4 million. We go from 1.4 million to 77,000. I mean, they might get 100. Oh, their projections are always bullshit. They just lie. And this is by number of fish, not by volume. This isn't size of fish. These things are cinny, they're sucked up. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's a major, 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 well, in science, mystified, baffled, stumped, curious, alarmed, hot water gate. This is called an outlier. What the fuck? Why would they just all of a sudden off a cliff collapse? Again, something, it's obvious. Something happened to the Pacific Ocean in 2011. That's absolutely unarguable. The gray well data, and I love it how you're still, people babbling all over Facebook on the well starvation. Record 20 of them in Washington. 20. That isn't the record. Fuck, in 2015 we counted 312 along the Pacific. And okay, you're talking Washington? Look up Washington Fish and Game. Washington Fish and Game. Look it up. Look it up. Who's in charge of all this? They were having orgies in 2015 when this catastrophe was in full flight. The head of the Washington Fish and Game is doing time in prison for what? Raping a co-worker. Look it up. I'm not making this shit up. I mean, at least ODFW, Oregon Fish and Game, and then we have Tim Martin up there, so the world famous origami, or folded up and just pretend origami fishing guide. Born and raised there. I mean, fucking guy's half salmon. He's all over it. I mean, come on, man. Figures don't lie, liars figure. These are unarguable data. Unarguable data points. We have the leukemia rate spike in 2011. We have the tide pool wipeout in 2011. Oh, wasting disease. Then why did the Upper California purple origins go? Why did the sea anemones go the same time? All of it in symphony. This is an epic. That's called an outlier in science. We use regressionary models. Hello. Come on, man. You're going to ignore the freaking real science? Look, I'm not Neil deGrasse. I'm not Stephen Hawking, the Epsteiner. I'm not Bill Science, who ain't no science guy, Bill Nye. I'm not. Those are made for TV philosophers. They're not scientists. Science, you have to prove it. You have to prove it. First, you hypothesize the knowledge. These are full-blown out meltdown. And what am I going to do, stay in academia? I was the guy at the #1 school in the country right there. Blackballed. Because what happened? The PhDs got hijacked by the Epstein cult. There's a reason Los Alamos there. I mean, come on. Why do you think it was there? Epstein Ranch. I mean, I've been on the Epstein freaking New Mexico thing. This is the activist. We were all over that in the 90s. Fucking he got convicted, fucking went to prison in the fucking, well, went to prison, did jail for a little bit. I mean, what a scam in the 90s, 30 years ago. I mean, and now one of his best buddies is President of the United States for the second time. I mean, how you like that price of gas? Oh my God, just devastating the American consumer. I've always said for years, your worst enemies are inflation and radiation. Radiation, number one. And that's a big, broad term. Nuclear fallout is your worst nightmare. It will mow your life down and cut it off, which it almost did me. Inflation is devastating. This inflation is going psycho, psychotic under the Trump BB regime. And him and his family just profiting off it. I mean, it's so disturbing, it's so disgusting. So, these numbers don't lie. I mean, we go from 1.4 million to 77,000 in one decade? Talk about an outlier, talk about a collapse, and this is every said river. The Rogue and the Deschutes are worse. I mean, look up at the Kenine, worse. But, I mean, how about the humpbacks and gray whale starvation event? How about, I mean, look, Henry the Loons. I told you they were fishing here in the new cement fuel pool, Weaver State Pond. How about the common mirror? They say it's the greatest die-off in history. You think NOAA identified that? You think the EPA identified? You think some college professor identified? That was a retired guy going to visit his daughter in his granddaughter in Alaska, and he's walking along the beach, and he says they're everywhere. Reporting the same. I mean, I've been reporting that for 2 years before he did in California. I'm like, look at this. They're playing volleyball. I mean, the dead mirror. I'm the first guy that talked about it. But he's the one that identified it, and he went to his granddaughter. And his granddaughter snuck it on to Channel 11 News in Anchorage before they could circle the wagons, and they got it out there. And then ODFW, who were vacationing in Cancun, I think, with their feet up, hurried and flew home. Oh, God, I guess we better do some work. There's freaking pitiful. And by the way, they've been sued for lying on numbers on the Copper River. Did you know that? And they lost. They admitted it. It's your Copper River. Oh, my God, it's so pitiful. Stay tuned. So these numbers don't lie. Sugar wars, molasses wars, textile wars, cocaine cowboys, plutonium wars. Oh, they went and got the guy in Venezuela, and now they've brought his enriched uranium at a reactor. The U.S. grabbed it and brought it back. I told you that Putin was after the Big Z. I mean, that's what these are, plutonium wars. These nuclear reactors surely aren't there to make freaking electricity. Oh my God. And we're going to get little SMRs. Yay, yay, we love them. No such thing. I mean, what a scam. So ignore the evidence. See no nuclear energy evil. Speak no nuclear energy evil. Hear no nuclear energy. The nuclear energy emperors have no clothes on Balco, on chemo. What a catastrophe. These numbers don't lie. And this has been going on. I've been all over this before it even happened. Play back the tape. Before they kettled me, stuffed my toothpaste in the tube. This is the greatest PhD in human history. You have to be able to prove it. Kevin Lynch stood right here. This is the first time in human. These are full blown out core meltdowns. Never happened at Chernobyl. I was one freaking graphite reactor. It was new, no spent fuels that blew up. 780,000 men conscripted. Come on, boy, let's go. Entombed it, including mining underneath it. Why do you think they mined underneath it? And they physically went in 8-second intervals and got the pieces of the core. These cores melted down. Now we have the evidence. Del Argentina syndrome. We have the evidence. It took them 15 years to get a photograph. But there's one now. Giant gaping hole in the. How thick's the containment vessel? Oh, thick. Big time thick. What kind of heat does it take to burp through there? Oh, millions of degrees. Bringing star-powered Earth. Yeah, it snowed in the mountains here in Utah. I mean, what a hottest year in history. How about the heat dome? The Great Salt Lake at perfect levels, and all these idiots are Trump going to save the a little late. You know, I've been screaming about that before it even happened. I predicted all that. The heat dome. I predicted the heat dome. The Great North American Heat Dome. Look it up. 2011. And this isn't, I mean, it's a weird gig on drought versus not drought on the heat dome over the western United States hot water gate. We've had north of precipitation in Utah the last 4 years, but it mostly comes in the form of rain. Now, 3 years ago we had the giant storms. But the Great Salt Lake continues to go drier and drier. Well, Fukushima burned a hole in the ozone right there. Look at it, it's unarguable. All foretold by Kevin Blanch, Hot Watergate. These 4 cores went into the Pacific Ocean and boiled the Pacific Ocean immediately. Took out the plankton. You take a, I mean, Kevin Blanch is going to cause you, you promised you would never break the chain. Thank you everybody who supported historic work. And I says it's going to break the eco chain. These numbers are devastating. I mean, this is a catastrophe. You should see the numbers on the Willamette and the Rogue, and oh my God, they are so pitifully low. We're talking 99% collapse in a decade. What happened in 2011? We know unarguable. And you continue to, well, science got captured. Academia? Oh, please. May I shave my head, give me some blue glasses, and use me a copy-paste PhD. That's what these people have done, including bootlicker racist Brad Morton's here at Utah State now. I mean, it's so criminal what they've done. Come on, they're from China, right? They never showed up here till the last few years in Utah. Huh. It's unbelievable, the freaking die-off. Unbelievable, this acute catastrophe. Really unbelievable. And I thought, well, they'll never be able to cover this up. The evidence is going to be too overwhelming. But who knew? It's like the Spanish flu. People don't want the truth. They can't handle the truth. They don't want to even talk about it. You talk to people about Fukushima, they drool out of the side of their mouth. And then they walk off. They'll change the subject. They won't talk to you. They'll avoid you like the freaking bubonic plague. I'm a butcher, what's a cow? I'm a baker, what's a cake? I'm a fisherman, what's a boat? I'm a marine biologist at Weber State. I'm a scientist at Cal Berkeley, at Oregon State. Tell me, what's Fukushima? Keep ignoring the evidence. Go ahead. It's not opinion. Not opinion. These numbers are devastating. That's why we use regressionary models. We run regression, and this thing will deviate from the mean by thousands of times. This is the greatest outlier in human history. The Great Pacific Genocide, as I named it. First, you hypothesize the knowledge. These are full-blown out meltdowns. It's going to give you, I get leukemia, given 2 months to live. To think if I did all this historic work in critical condition. I was given 2 months to live with ML de Novo. I'm a 1% survivor. I've had open heart surgery twice. Kicked off Medicaid by scumbag Mike Lee. I mean, my own people, and I'm 7th generation here in Utah. Nobody from Utah has ever supported this, whatever. They don't care. I mean, it's unbelievable. My nuclear equals cancer shows up on every publication. Here's been on the front page of the Tribune, Deseret News, Hillside, whatever. But God forbid you talk about the guy that's holding it, and they always make sure it's on my back. The elephant's in the room. Classified, Kevin. Wow. So I'm glad that I don't get the heavy view count anymore. I'm really relieved because I look back on those days. I spent all my time policing my site from the trolls and the psychos and the ignorant. You know, when the government can hire, and we tracked it down. The government hired teams of trolls to attack me. While I'm in critical condition, which are felonies in all 50 states. Nobody ever protected me. Ever. I mean, what they did? Oh, you know, and they've admitted that they went after and attacked people that were calling it. Well, there was only one person on the planet calling these full-blown out meltdowns. You could ignore the evidence. I mean, remember Noah come out? Noah wouldn't even acknowledge that this was happening. And then they finally come out in 2019 and says, yeah, unusual mortality event on the gray wells. Started in 2015 and declared it over in 2019. I says, it ain't over. Chuck Kevin Blanch says it's fucking over. And it's been verified now that it started in 2011, 2012. 75 biologists got together and verified and used, well, who organized the citizen scientists in those days? The Post-Ignorance Project. Kevin Blanch did. I mean, I've done the work, fuck, and think about it. I mean, my God. Kevin Blanch standing right here. March 2011. All new knowledge will be persecuted, always has. This is new, never happened before, which I named FUKUSHIMA. It's a plasma, it's a gas. It pushed into the soil, it caused the acidification of the ocean. I'm the guy that named it the blob. I hate that name. First guy that identified it. It's the acidification. When the healthy species out and the lowest species moves in. What's the lowest species? Politicians? Second. Black mold. That's what's taking over the ocean. And these 4 cores are buried in the Pacific Ocean. And they're boiling the ocean. I mean, it's that simple. So you can't argue. I mean, I like it. They're still trying to cover. They know factually that the greatest outlier in freaking history, at least since Krakatoa, happened in the Pacific Ocean in 2011. Moved over North America. Jet stream moves left or right. Breaking news, fish swim. I mean, I presented the data. Cesium 137. 1,000 times the background levels. That's the Buesler study in the water column in 2011. How about the cesium 137 in the fish? 180 times the safe limit. How about in your sneakers? How about in your clothes? How about in your shrimp? I mean, I presented the evidence over and over and over and over, but that don't mean nothing. So what happened in 2011? A meteor strike the Pacific Ocean? No. A volcano formed the size of Krakatoa and blocked the sun out for 10 years? Huh. I mean, I remember arguing with this Patagonia geeked up weirdo in the Utah State Capitol. Well, you know, we've got to do something because we can't store solar. I says, can't store solar? Of course we can store solar. Why do we need to store it here? This is one of the rare days and it's still peeking through. The sun shines in Utah 320 days a year. But we're going to get little SMRs, so, I mean, people don't run for office for the people. And that's not what I can do for my country. Ask what I can loot for my fellow country. On state. I mean, Governor Cox, I've been screaming about him from day one. He told me right there to my face, it's on YouTube, he didn't know what an SMR was. 3 months later, after he got elected by less than 1/10 of the vote, he signs a deal with Bill Gates. Bill Gates is not a scientist, not a biologist, not nothing. Zero. And to build a Utah, you're paying it out of your Rocky Mountain Power bill. Him and that scumbag Warren Buffett owned Rocky Mountain Power, who stole our school business. You're paying for that jackalope factory in Kemmer, Wyoming, and there ain't shit. Because they're getting all the free money. Bryce Anderson. Everybody's in on it. Trump merged his Truth Social with a nuclear energy startup. Think about that. I mean, everybody knows. Bryce Anderson, you ain't got to pay it back, so... These numbers don't lie. These salmon numbers are devastating. You know, we go from 1.4 million to 77,000 a decade. That's a hell of a collapse, dude. And we know, in sympathy with the dead whales, in sympathy with the dead typals, in sympathy with the starved to death mirrors, in sympathy with the heat dome over the United States. I mean, it's unarguable. It's called empirical data. So, tell me lies. Tell me sweet little nuke. It blows my mind. I feel like I live in the Twilight Zone. You're not paying attention. It's been a long, ugly journey. Thank you, everybody. Stay hung in there and supported the historic work. Sugar wars, molasses wars, textile wars, cocaine cowboys, plutonium wars. Stay tuned.